Hmm. What's going on, everybody? This is B.M.T coming at you again. I definitely just, I'm just chillaxing. I'm just chillaxing. There's no skin in the game on this one. This is kind of more so of a free verse, open panel. You're allowed to just sit down, uh, talk about. I don't know. I don't think there's really anything I am afraid to talk about or afraid to go over. I think that's one of the beauties of my channel because that's the point of living life. And a lot of folks they'll talk about jargon of shit, but they're afraid to actually open up the book and just speak on the bullshit. Like they'll, what I'm saying? Yeah, you might get the Oprah Winfrey wannabe content curators, or you'll get those who are like, oh yeah, so let's get in and talk about that or this or that. You know what I'm saying? They don't really want to go into details. I can't give you the Huxtable blueprint, you know what I'm saying? But I can tell you that of the state of the reality of, what I'm saying, what's popping, what's happening. So I can do that through that of my livelihood of how I live my life. And I'm very understanding that the space is definitely the have and have nots. You're definitely starting to see it. It's ringing out very loudly. The blacks who had a certain lifestyle or not. But what's going on, man? What's up, Gabe? You know what I'm saying? This is why, you know what? This is why I see jealousy when people like Gabe come by. I see it. I see the jealousy and the hate on him. Yeah, Gabe can be an asshole when he wants to be one. You know what I'm saying? But aside from that, what is he saying that's wrong? Oh, I got to drop the panel link. This is an open format. I mean, anybody can come on through. I'm not sugarcoating or anything like that. I literally watch a bunch of dudes try to have a conversation with hardcore Tito. So if y'all are free to go talk with pedophiles and shit and talk about that of the foolishness or women saying that they align with goddamn transformer boxes and shit, but then they'll say, "Well, what happened to the men?" I'm like, "All y'all men done turned into goddamn women now, or goddamn are wearing dresses, or it's all kind of dumb shit I see going on with Negroes." Like, it's very interesting the how low society, especially for Black Negroes or Black people, has been driven. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very sad, man. I wouldn't give a shit to get on the platform and try to say, well, what's going to be the state of Black men? What do you mean? Like, it's not like we live under the same household. Y'all not my kids. You mean ask about what's the state of Black men? Like, nigga, what are you talking about? Majority of y'all still, y'all not even got y'all shit together, man. Y'all talking about going to Brazil or where the fuck y'all go to these days. That's crazy. Kind of blows my mind. How do people talk about traveling, but then complain about that of their environment and saying, "Well, that's why we're traveling." And I said, "Well, okay, then get the fuck out." But then quit bitching to me about your damn situation. There was a video I saw it on Super Slide's channel and a few other channels and on Instagram. I didn't pay no mind to it, but it was of a black dude wearing glasses, and I guess he said he went out on a date or he went on a blind date with a he went on a blind date with a what's up Gabe.
Hey, what's up, man?
And you can jump in anytime you want. Did you see that video with that guy said he went on a blind date and how he got stood up and he was telling his resume, I'm a good guy and I just don't understand why would they. And I was trying not to laugh, but I was like, where are we doing this at? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, what's your
I
thoughts
don't
on
know.
that shit, Gabe? Like,
Not much, man.
oh my
Just,
God.
it's some just little soft dudes out there. Really. So, let me not say that. I think that everybody's like their progression journey. A lot of people don't, progress at the same point as others. So, I think that
Right.
he might just be still got a lot of growing up to do,
I
dealing with
agree.
rejection and all that, but it definitely was weak. Absolutely. You
I
jumping
don't.
on social
I'm gonna
media
be
to
honest.
cry
I don't
about
think
a stand up. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this game and just. I don't think he's ready to have a woman or a family.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
I would be honest. For us as the family men, and we can talk our shit. He's
Yeah.
not ready to have no. He can't have no woman.
Nah.
If we had to do an H&R,
Nah.
goddamn, we have to go over a report of his work ethic. I would say,
Nah.
hey, bro, you can't have no fucking woman. You too weak.
Because a lot of
I'm
dudes
sorry,
like
bro.
that though. Like I don't think he's alone. I really don't. There's a lot of dudes like that. That kind of. So I look at him, right? Very soft, right? Very
Right.
mushy type of dude that jump social media. But also look at other dudes who like are super like rigid and stern. Who can't really who don't like relax. Them dudes too, and I'm like, they're not ready for relationships either. Because anything a woman does, they're gonna trip. They're gonna go crazy. And it's like I think that's also the other side of the spectrum of dudes that's not really ready for a relationship and family.
I agree on that, man. Like, listen, man, it's definitely a shift in the balance of power. You got a lot of dudes. I mean, they just, and don't get me wrong, but the women. Listen, I think she's wished that on him because there are some dudes who are extra thirsty. There's some dudes that are extra thirsty. We done seen it in the space. You know what I'm saying? Dudes be in chat with goddamn women that be in the chat or shit. All the women got to say some goofy shit like, "Oh man, I believe in you, King," and all that other dumb goofy shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if that's all it takes to get cash apps or get on y'all panel and say, yeah, like the state of like y'all, they don't believe it. Why do you think that woman herself is not married? Like y'all don't see the red flag,
Yeah.
goddamn 40-plus-year-old woman saying all that shit to men, and yet ain't no man in her area took her. Like, come on, man, what is Jurassic Park?
I missed
I'm
some of
just
it because
saying,
my
like,
internet was
some
messing
shit
up.
don't make no
But who the 40
sense.
who the 40 year
Huh?
old woman? I'm sorry, I missed some of it because my internet was messed up. Who the 40-year-old?
Well, you got the Mammy Brigade that be in there saying how bad it is for black men out there and shit. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
yo, what are you
Yeah.
talking? I'm like, okay, so why ain't you been taken off the show? Why ain't nobody want fucking with you like that? You know what I'm saying? But
See, but it's wild.
you
It's like
know,
the same dudes that they defend are the same dudes that they would never go for. Like they would
no,
not be taken off the
no,
market for the dudes that they defend. So I think that's also an element there.
no,
Yeah.
they won't. They don't. And I mean, honestly, it's just it's kind of laughable. Um, just like it was like you're seeing. And I had to give you a little bit of homage. I gave you a little bit of credence
Uh-oh.
of homage of
What happened?
no, like I get tired of the motherfuckers coming around talking about get cybersecurity, get cybersecurity, get cybersecurity. And I'd be like, man, would y'all motherfuckers shut the fuck up? Like, I
Yeah.
don't hear nobody talk about no programs, no type of
Nah.
malware programs you need to start reading or checking up on. Like, okay, so like when I wanted to be a game tester, right? I
Yeah.
used to go look at the new magazines for like the new, I'm telling a little bit of my age, like the new Dell, back then when Dell computers were coming out. Oh, dude, you're getting the Dell. Or I was
Yeah,
looking at Microsoft 98, 97. I was checking on all of that. I don't
yeah,
hear that conversation. Like geek talk don't got shit to do with, well, programming talk don't got shit to do with goddamn talking about bitches and the
nah,
Mahoney report and shit like that. All that shit. Hell, you really ain't even talking about race. You're just talking
they're
about
very separate.
programming.
They're, they're very separate. But I think that dudes like BGS, he try to mix them.
Uh-oh.
He's like, because AI is coming in the building, that means that black women are gonna suffer. Like, or that's gonna draw them back to the table. Like, that's not how it works. There's a whole economy. There's a whole like, it's a lot of other factors that are involved in this thing, other than just get back at Keisha content. So, yeah, I think people look through their gynocratic glasses. They look at everything, look at the whole world through they get back at Keisha glasses, and it just don't mix, man.
But
It's like a whole world out here, man. Like, go see it.
it is. See, and that's the shit about it, bro. Like,
Here we go.
oh, okay. I can send it to you, doc. I can send it to you. Yeah, I got one of the doctors that want to come up also. Yeah, like no, it's an open panel format. Like, here's the shit about it, man. Uh, listen, man.
Yeah.
I was doing work yesterday. I was showing them 1099 work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was like, listen, yo, the shit that y'all talk about here, y'all take that shit to the work or the job force. They're gonna fire your ass on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be going around talking all that submission and back in the day when grandma walked barefoot and pregnant shit. Listen, most jobs will fire you for that kind of conversation, bro. Like they'll somebody's just gonna come on the floor, say, "Hey, B.M.T, could you give me a second, Gabe? Hey, how you doing? Come in the office. Hey, man, that stuff you've been talking and playing in the work area, we don't do that here. So I don't think this place is the best fit for you." Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, that's
you can't. That's not for the work.
Here for 10 years.
What type of conversation ain't? It's not for the workplace. You're there to work. You're not there to get your frustration off about Keisha and about what I don't know, just about anything. Like, that's not what work is about. You know, go to work and then go home, and then you get it off. But yeah, man, it's just crazy out here, man. It's just crazy out here. A lot of this content is you know what's wild, BMT? You know what draws me to a lot of this content is because it's so foreign. It's because it's so foreign to me, right? It
is pretty dogmatic, and it's weird for how the men and the women talk, because in logical society, this shit would be. You and I have never heard nobody say high value outside of fucking this nigga zone. Like nobody says that, and nobody, no race or culture goes around saying high value. Nobody says that shit, bro. Like y'all done licked Kevin Samuel's butthole too long, man. I don't know what the hell shit happened, man, but nobody says that. Well, in the boardrooms they say no, they don't. Nobody says that.
Nobody says that.
Nobody says that, man. Nobody's saying that shit, bro. Doctors aren't going around saying that. Lawyers aren't going around saying that. People that work at Walmart or any type of place, nobody's doing that, man. Like this is why I said this place is crazy, man. Y'all need to stop listening to them Uber drivers and crazy shit. Nothing wrong with that, but y'all really need to stop listening to these motherfuckers that are telling y'all all this babble shit that is not conducive.
Yeah, most of this stuff you cannot take to the real world and apply it. You can listen to some of it and be like, oh, okay, I peeped this, I peeped that. But most of this stuff you could not, like, you can't hold a conversation with the majority of audiences outside of YouTube on the stuff that they talk about on YouTube. Like, even just how they be talking talking to black women. Like, I think it was some Anton stuff that Ramil was talking about this morning, where Anton was just bringing up these statistics. What does statistics say about this and that? Like, ain't nobody sitting up at a barbecue. Listen, ain't nobody sitting up at the barbecue about to play maybe some volleyball, might start to play some little football with the family. You know, the kids playing hopscotch. Nobody's bringing out statistics to have a conversation about where Black women are lacking. Like, stop it. That's not how you connect with people. That's not how you that's not how you relate to individuals. You don't just start busting out random statistics to try to prove your point. That's type of stuff to get you not invited to the next barbecue. That's type of that's what that do. So you know these dudes.
No, and that's true, young lane. Not even nobody in the military is going around saying that they're high value. That would get a shrink. That they just talk about they say they rank. And understand as military people are, listen, it's aside from certain type of pay of that they might get. Listen, bro, they're suffering out there too, man. The motherfuckers are going to the pawn shops and doing whatever they got to do.
I mean, even pay is relative. I mean, you could be getting it today.
Michelle, if I let you up now, you better have your phone fixed, man. Somebody also said, no. Somebody want to come up. Somebody says, you're talking about it though. Yeah, of course, because this is what this is what Negroes believe. Y'all believe this shit on YouTube from Fresh and Fed and the Dynasty, Destiny, whatever. All these YouTube motherfuckers, listen, bro. And it's crazy because a lot of people believe that these social media people are like living lavish lifestyles when they're like these people. Oh man, like it's y'all don't. I don't think they get to watch the stories of these having mental breakdowns and shit and be crying and it's not pretty, man.
And that's what I was about to say. Like they saying that you talking about it, but they don't understand how long we've been here. We done seen the evolution of a lot of this stuff. We done seen people change and switch up. It's almost like you watching character development. This is like a reality show almost to some degree. So you know, it's
we don't see the 14.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Man. We're trying to tell y'all, man, like y'all gotta like take that what's that, Shauna, what's that damn thing that the EMS put under your nose, like in case of emergency, if you start losing consciousness. God damn it, you gotta like put that under some people's nose, man, and like bring them back, man. Like that's why that's why y'all see these guys getting online saying delusional shit, or a woman, you know, you see a lot of these women with this androgynous behavior, man. Like, you know, it's crazy. The people will complain about that, like, we don't like these type of women, but they'll watch them all day. Or they'll try to hook up with them. Like, well, how do we get the women to come back home? And I'm like, why y'all trying to get the women to come back home? Like, how old are you now, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? Smelling sauce, thank you, Topaz. Like, and because shout out to Topaz, she was talking about the standard. And YouTube standards are far below some kind of gravity fault line. You know what I'm saying? That you I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what kind of like standards of lifestyle that people that y'all trying to shoot for. Because I mean, y'all trying to do goddamn YouTube dating booty call hookups. That right there says a lot about the atmosphere, because motherfuckers talking about they want to be taken serious in society, but then y'all niggas are doing the Kendra G booty call hookup hotline and shit. So you can't complain about society if this is your micro society that y'all are living through. Listen, man, normal people know that this shit is not real. And that's the thing about it. People say, what do you mean this is not real? Gabe, you're full of shit. And I'm like B.M.T, you just say anything rambling out your mouth. No, man. Like this, y'all not gonna see no listen, if politicians knew y'all were saying this crazy shit, they probably would have tried to shut this shit down. I think they just know y'all are just good by yourself, man. They know y'all are good by yourself over here, man. With the crazy Nick Fuentes and just Pearl knew to get out.
I was about to say, when would you ever run into a white supremacist in real life? When?
You know, I really haven't never, and I work around all. So you know, I'm in the South. I don't really run into them like that. And I'm in South Carolina. I don't really run into them like. If I were to run into them, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like go call the cavalry or some shit?
And that's the thing. Like, why would anybody want to engage a white? Like, why would a black man want to engage a white supremacist? Like, what's the purpose? Like, what you getting there? That's why I say, like, this space is wild. This space is wild. Like, you bringing up the white supremacists in order to kind of prove some type of, I don't know. Is it that's not even content strategy? That's just crashing out. That's just online digital crashing out. Like, what are you doing? What are you getting from that? It don't grow you subscribers. You're not getting his fan base trying to subscribe to your channel or try to support you. You're not getting nothing but just, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
You know, when I was blowing up, I was doing numbers when I was talking about black women and child support. And then after that, I was like, okay, this shit is not logical.
Yeah.
This shit don't make no sense. Like, all you niggas, 1 minute y'all aren't, there's no way y'all niggas on child support. If all y'all niggas on child support, why aren't y'all using the money to go, you know what I'm saying? Why aren't y'all niggas going to go get lawyers? Why aren't y'all getting y'all? I have yet seen this space where anybody has gotten their kids squared away or getting their life squared away. Like, somehow everybody's making it to Kampala or Sao Paulo or going to goddamn Costa Rica, traveling world. But then they'll say, we got to fix the family. But then we all try to get on Carnival Cruise. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, y'all got to pick a struggle. Where are we going with this, man? Like, you got to pick a struggle, man. You got to choose a struggle, man. Are y'all trying to get out the country? If you try to get out the country, I don't get it. I mean, half the time when they get out the country, they got those videos of Chinese women making fun of them and shit.
Yeah,
I'm did you see that video?
I'm about to fly thousands of miles. Yeah, that joke was crazy. I'm not about to fly thousands of miles to get dissed by somebody speaking broken English to me.
Yeah, he's
you
fat.
Back, man.
You fat, man. I'm fat.
Word?
And ugly. I was like, no.
Are these plane tickets refundable? Is this refundable?
Hey, bro. Like, I was like, hold on. And then that dude, mind you, y'all know that shit was being recorded on national TV. And the dude going to go sit down with Mei Ling or Chung Lee, whatever the fuck her name was, and say, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings.
Don't care about that.
She don't give a fuck about your feelings, nigga. Like, the fuck? Like, what did you?
What?
I said, damn, you ran over to a whole nother race just for a bunch of rice patty farmer girls just to talk shit to you.
That's crazy.
That is shit.
That's crazy.
Damn. I don't know what. I don't know. That's an insult to injury.
Couldn't be me. And you know, they don't always speak about like the relatability aspect of relationships. Like, I think that it makes sense that a lot of times people of the same race, backgrounds, regions get together because they relate on so many different levels. Even certain age groups get together more often than others. So it's like you going overseas, you got people from a completely different culture, from completely different backgrounds. They don't understand this. She don't know. She probably don't even know what slavery was. She like, oh, you talk about slavery over here? Like, she probably don't even understand anything about your background. So that relatability factor is just so much lower. So that causes all types of these microaggressions. Yeah, she don't care about none of that. I remember, B.M.T, I remember I was in my 20s. I was trying to talk to a girl. She was from Grenada. And she used to say stuff like, why are black people so down? Because she came up to Detroit, right? And I was just, I'm trying to spit or whatever. She's like, why are black, No, well, she didn't travel up there for me. She was up there for some other stuff. No, I wasn't about that. I wasn't flew over. Wasn't nobody getting flown out by me. But she didn't understand just the foundations of like what happened in Black America. Like, she's like it's been thousands of years since slavery. I'm like, nah, my grandma, she in her 90s.
Damn.
Like, what you mean? Like, you talk about two grandmas back to back and boom, we're back in slavery. And even after slavery is Jim Crow. And so, and I'm not saying that I was trying to make excuses for the condition of black people, but she was really trying to diss all black people because of the current condition. We're not really understanding the background and the history. And you know, I know that was gonna cause some issues. Even though I have myself together, I just.
But here's the thing about it, and this is my talk. This is my stance on that. It's not her job
No.
to, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And you understood it already
Yeah.
when I started on it. Like, it's not her job to give a fuck for what our shit is.
Nope.
Our job to actually
Show link.
shit. Yeah, somebody. Yeah, that's our job to have some type of understanding. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Dr. A? It's our job to have a certain type of understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Let
Something ringing
me
or
call.
something?
Go, y'all. Yeah, somebody's calling me. Somebody's calling me.
No.
Y'all, take over. I gotta make this call. Give me a second.
You got to multitask, Joe. We appreciate that. But the bottom line is, I'm going to represent for
Hello.
the ladies, but the lady who you're speaking of, there is no redemption. Okay. When you think that African Americans were enslaved thousands of years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
yet you are abreast of current issues in the BS world. You're watching social media and you're up to date, but you don't know your own facts and history as a person of African descent. There is no justification for that, period.
Yeah. Well, that was my thing, right? I'm like, I'm not here to try to I'm not trying to connect with somebody who I got to get up to speed about my history,
That's
right? Like, what's
exactly
the
right.
like? What am I doing here?
Yeah,
Like
no,
I'm working
no.
backwards. So
And it's not just up to
yeah.
speed on your personal history, but that's like
Mm-hmm.
not knowing when man landed on the moon. How are you
Yeah.
not cognizant of when slavery in America happened and what that timeline was?
And I think it's because it didn't affect her to some right. She didn't know how it affected her, and she was in an
Right.
environment
That's
that
right.
it that
That's
she
right.
sees more of the results of it.
Well
So it
said.
was really ignorance. Like she was working from a position, she was moving from a position of ignorance, and that was and I was bringing that up to say, hey, I'm not trying to be no passport bro. I was never trying to do that. I used to travel all the time for work. I used to go down to Mexico because I used to work for Ford Motor Company. So I would travel down to Mexico because that's where a lot of the assembly plants were.
That's right.
And Mexican women were everywhere. I was the only
Yeah.
black person in a lot of different places, and there was a lot of attention, right? Because they're very short, kind of smaller people. I'm 6 foot plus, right? Especially with shoes on. So
Oh yeah,
I
that's going
stood
to get
out,
attention. That's going to get attention in Mexico. We all
right?
know the Mexican is pequeñito, okay?
Yeah,
Muy
yeah.
pequeño.
Muy pequeño, muy pequeño, yeah. So it was like I'm not, but at the same time, I'm not. That's not. I'm looking for somebody who come from where I come from. We can understand the same jokes. We can understand the same environment. So my
Or
wife is from.
at least somebody who
My
is
wife is from where I'm
culturally
from.
aware. Culturally
Yeah,
aware.
culturally aware. Yes.
You don't have to be from Alabama just to know Black American history. You can be from anywhere
Yeah.
on the entire globe and know Black history. You
Now
just
that's
happen to
true.
meet a
Yeah.
Mexican woman who
Yeah.
chose not to have any intelligence
Yeah.
about people of African descent in America.
Now. At the same time, I I I agree, but I think it's also a preference thing because I think that there can be a white woman that can understand and understand the plight of Black Americans,
Well, I think
but
that's very true.
I'm
You know,
like,
we just lost
yeah.
Sinead O'Connor. Okay, she was
Mm-hmm.
Irish, but she was an
Mm-hmm.
activist, and I can
Right.
promise you, she knew more about Black American history than the
Yeah.
sister that you're referring to from Mexico,
Yes.
even
Yes.
from Caucasian descent. So it doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
what your hue is; it's where
Yeah.
is your mind state.
Right. And it's also about what your preference. So for the men out there, right, that want to go all these other places, want to get to that was just never my personal preference, right? I'm like, I can't go for a white woman, even if she is conscious, even if she does know the background. That just wasn't my thing, right? So I think
And
there
I
is
can
also a
appreciate
personal
that.
preference aspect there. Yeah, yeah,
There's always, and see, the one place that you have the right to discriminate is in your
yeah,
personal life. Who you
yes,
choose to chemistry be connected to is completely up to you. You don't have to
Right.
be unbiased. You don't have to be completely fair and politically correct. When it comes to personal choices about a mate, that is where you have absolute carte blanche to discriminate. And if you say, I don't care how conscious and aware that the woman may be, I need a woman of color. That's the same as me saying, I am not going to tongue down a white boy. Number one, their saliva tastes different. It really does.
Not the
No, it really
difference.
does.
Yeah.
It has a different taste. They have a different chemistry, and I'm not into it. But secondly, I'm the first generation of Black women that can say no to white penis. Okay. If someone chose to rape my
That means
mother,
something.
my mother was born in 1946. Okay. That means, yes, in her lifetime, thank God it did not happen, but she could have been raped by a white man and gotten no justice. None.
Especially in certain regions of the United States. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So once again, talking about 6 degrees of separation and how the Mexican woman did not recognize what really is Black American history. It's that close. I can reach out and touch my mother. She would have had no justice and no vindication if she had been raped by a gang of white men. So I am the first generation of Black women that really, truly, for any act of aggression, any act of injustice by a white man, can actually seek justice legally in this country. I'm the first generation. So for that reason
That means
alone,
something.
I don't want no white dick. None.
Let's go.
Just based on principle.
Yeah. Let me tell you about this one story, and I've told it before. So I went to, so my undergrad is in electrical engineering, and I went to a school that's very popular for engineering. And I went to a predominantly white institution.
Right.
And probably one of our first classes is our engineering fundamentals class, where they pair us up in groups and we have to complete different engineering projects, showing different principles of our industry, right? So I know one was like a kind of like a physics background. We had to use different software to design some stuff. Anyway, I was paired up. So there, I was the only Black person in my class, first of all. And also within engineering, there are not a lot of ladies. And there definitely aren't any Black women typically in any of my classes. So there were 2 white young ladies that were there. So all the white dudes separated into their own groups. And it was me and 2 white young ladies that was in the group because we like the outliers, right?
Right.
So anyway, we're going through the project, and so I had a very strong background in high school and middle school of mathematics. I even went to a math summer camp throughout my entirety of middle school and high school. So I was very adept to like math and science and engineering. But these young ladies, they were, they weren't as, I guess, exposed. So in many cases, I was finding myself carrying the weight of the group, and I was finding myself being taxed. So it came to the point where we were in a group project and we had a group meeting, and I just I wasn't like yelling at them or anything, but I laid it out firm. Like, listen, y'all not carrying y'all weight here. Okay. Now, let me give you a picture of me. This is early 2000s. I'm wearing a hoodie, right? I got a do-rag because that's just where I come from. That's Detroit, Michigan.
I love it.
That's
I'm
Detroit,
from
Michigan.
DC. I love it. Yep.
Right. So it's like, that's who I am. So at the same time, these young ladies had never been exposed to that. I think I even have a picture of me.
Right.
This is me in college.
Somebody who's a STEM expert with the do-rag and the hoodie.
Right. This is me in college. This is a picture of me in college.
You didn't fit the mold. Yep.
I did not fit the mold. But at the same time, so I'm letting these young ladies know. And at the same time, I'm looking at them and I'm seeing tears. Do you know when I saw them tears? Do you know there was something that rose up in me? There was some fear. That was some fear.
No, that's and right. Like, because guess what? Emmett Till didn't see tears, and look what happened to him. Okay.
Listen.
So when Becky cries, it means something.
It does. So I had to relegate that whole situation real quick. I had to soften it up because I'm like, I don't like this position I'm in. So kind of fast forward.
You ain't gonna say no Black man made you cry today. No.
Not at all. And it was just me and them in a room, in a study room. And I'm like, listen, so many things can be said and done here that I am not willing to go down that route. So anyway, fast forward
Amen.
to the relationship thing. I'm like, never. Because I could listen, I remember that fear of seeing them white tears.
No, you're right
And
about
I'm like,
that,
I ain't
bruh.
never going
You know
there
what?
again.
Thank you
Yeah.
for saying that on this show, because that's
Yeah.
real and that's powerful. Anytime
Mhm.
a black man, especially with your stature, like you said,
Yeah.
you're a big
Mhm.
rock of a man. Okay. You
Mhm.
ain't no little Pee Wee Herman of a man.
No.
Anytime a black man is like a George Floyd, okay, he has a presence about him physically, and he's in
Mhm.
the presence of Becky. All she got to do is point the finger and cry.
That's it.
That nigga will be Emmett Tilled.
That's it. Whether it's legally, whether it's a community that come after you, whether I mean social media, who not well, I don't know. I might have some
But
protections via social
even
media,
if
but
it's your
still, it's their word against mine.
even if it's your fellow STEM students that
Right.
ostracized you in engineering,
Right. Right.
it
Right.
is real. It is real, and I'm so glad. Thank you,
Mhm.
Joe, for giving us the medium to discuss
Absolutely.
this intelligently as Black professionals. I am
Mhm.
so happy to be in discussion with a Black man who is a STEM
Oh, I
expert,
appreciate it.
who has studied engineering. My father was
Mhm.
an engineer, God rest
Oh,
his soul. So
awesome.
God bless you, bruh, like for real.
Same to you, and bless him too. Definitely appreciate it, Joe, for giving the floor. I don't have to. So I'm kind of known to kind of be an antagonist at times to people
No,
in these Black YouTube streets, but
I,
this has definitely been a valuable conversation.
I
Appreciate
think
it.
one of the issues that we're having is everybody. It's like going into like a store to go go shopping. Everybody doesn't wear the same size pants. You got to find the one
Right.
that fits you. Um, what some people want to go after. You know what I'm saying? That's them. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't tell one man or one woman uh their degree, but I know my degree of where I talk about. That's why when I said like when I had the conversation, I told yesterday that somebody felt a certain type of way about being a 1099 worker, and I said, well, everybody doesn't have to be a 1099 worker. Maybe some people do better working for people or working for a job. I think that's safe. I mean, there's comes a lot of responsibility having to file your own taxes, keep up with the
Yeah.
property, the maintenance, the websites. Everybody, I don't agree with. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to own. And then when you see the people who all rush out there to own, and they don't have the process or wherewithal, like I hear a lot of motherfuckers say, "Everybody, we all need to go drive trucks," and I'm like, "Nigga, like stop,
Yeah.
like no,
See,
like
and that's the thing, right? That owning things comes with some things that a lot of people don't account for, like you mentioned, like healthcare, right? Healthcare is an expense that many organizations cover almost 100% for most people
Absolutely.
who work for them. Like
Absolutely.
I have an eight month old now, right? When we
right,
were
right,
leaving the hospital, all of a sudden, I'm seeing these bills hit my our little app, our little healthcare app with our medical institution. But then the next week, they were all gone. You talking 5 figures
That's
to have one baby
right. That's right.
plus. So but that was all covered because of insurance through my employment. Now, if I was not employed, if I was 1099 or if I was working contract, that will all be on me. Right. I'll probably be on a payment plan to this day, trying to cover a baby and also trying to keep up. Of course, it depends on the business and how much income I have and everything coming in. But in many cases, most businesses are not thriving to the point where they're able to cover healthcare, 5-figure healthcare expenses on a regular
Absolutely.
basis.
Absolutely.
So,
Now we're talking real
mhm.
talk.
right.
Right.
I think that's a big issue that's happening. When I hear a lot of people talk about get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, and then they speak for yourself or speak for like time is changing. A lot of jobs will tell you like, listen, we can't afford healthcare. Y'all gonna have to go out and go get your own type of copay or find something that we can try to link you up with some shit. Versus other jobs like, hey, we got this program we can set you up with, uh, but we're reasonably just being honest. We can't do that. I mean, I've seen a lot of workers turn down healthcare. Like they're like, nah, ain't taking that shit out of my check. I'm like, well, damn, dude. Like, so what do you get sick or injured? You just ass out. I mean, this is why you're starting to see a lot of those ER clinical cares starting to pop up. And
24-hour Medicare. Yep.
I call them goddamn. Listen, I got words for them, and I get it. Some people go to them, but you're now seeing even with the middle class, it does not even have health care, and they're just like, listen, we can't keep on trying to use the boule bourgeoisie and say, well, they have. You can't stop pocket watching what you cannot fly out to another country to go handle your situation. Your ass might be able to get down the road, or might, if you're lucky, get flown into another state. And God forbid if you get a helicopter flight, you get flown by a helicopter. That bill.
You know, there are two things. There are two things that people should consider. One, you'll have to push a little bit, but there's this philosophy called a bird in the hand. Hello, everybody. I didn't introduce myself. This is Attorney Nichelle again. And I was going to say, when it comes to medical expenses, as an attorney, I will honestly tell you, doctors actually receive in hand about 1/3 of what they put on your bill, if that.
Absolutely.
So if you come in, cash is king, and say, hey, rather than pay this $30 copay right now, I'll just go ahead and pay you $90.
Absolutely.
You don't have to bill my insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then for your major medical, they have something that's called a medical savings account. It's offered by the insurance companies as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you agree to cover, how do I like to say it? You agree to cover the oil changes. You agree to cover like air in the tires, little routine maintenance things that you have to do to keep your body healthy, just like you do your car. Well, the major things like transmission and all that, you want that to be covered by extended warranty if your warranty goes out. Right. So that's just a way to kind of think about going through this whole little nuances of healthcare. If you have small kids, if you have parents that live with you and you want to try to adjust some things, there's some interesting things, because what's scaring me is the number of people that are not getting long-term care insurance.
Yeah.
Now you think it's bad being a young Black man? Imagine being an older Black man. Now you have little Barbie coming out to do home care for you, and she calls 911 and says this dirty old man tried to assault her.
That's exactly right. The bottom line is this. Number one, how many Americans do not have basic health insurance? It's astounding. And we talked about it when Obama was president and doing this whole Obamacare. Ever since Trump took over as president and now Biden, we don't discuss the realities of how many millions of middle-class citizens do not have health insurance, much less, like Nichelle said, long-term to deal with your serious shit, to deal with your diabetes and your congestive heart failure, to deal with your COPD and your dementia, the long-term stuff.
Yeah.
The majority of our people are going to be ass out.
And let me even talk about even post, the long-term stuff for men specifically. How about life insurance? What are you leaving back behind for your family in the event that you are not there? Are you planning for your demise? Are you doing estate planning? Right? A lot of brothers, like we've seen that happen so often where, a man who's been, bragging and boasting about his success financially and business wise, he passes, and all of a sudden you see him and his wife have a GoFundMe in order to help.
That's absolutely right. What is it called, Nichelle, when you die with nothing? Ex parte, when you have no will. That's most Black men.
The majority of people don't have.
Is it ex parte?
Right.
No. I'm trying to remember the term. Forgive me. Intestate. When you don't have a will, you die intestate.
Most Black men.
Right. So planning for your demise, right? Planning for what happens to your children. Are their healthcare is their healthcare going to be covered? Are their expenses from the day to day going to be covered? How about the debts that you might leave behind? I mean, there's so many different aspects that need to be considered, right? That
I
you
mean,
can't just be
this
going
wasn't
along in
my
this
case.
life without a plan. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this wasn't my case. A mother was in court with her daughter, 16-year-old daughter, and the father had been killed in a traffic accident. It was not his fault. He had been run over by a truck. And I looked at this condescending ass judge, sit up there and go, wowee, what are you going to do with $30,000? That's a lot of money for somebody your age, ain't it? And I'm going,
Wow.
okay, do not think at any given time the courts are your friends. Because on another case, when I was just observing, father was in jail, mother was, struggling, a stay-at-home mom, car accident again, and the little amount of money that they wanted to put in to an account for the little girl's injuries in the car accident. She'd already received all her medical treatment. The judge said, well, if the mom won't agree to deposit the money in a trust fund for the little girl, then I guess we'll just appoint somebody to manage the little girl's affairs, financial affairs. Because this is, what kind of money is this? Oh, little girl's only getting like $4,000. What the hell can the mom do with the $4,000?
More than nothing. More than nothing for sure.
Right. So there are all these tragic cases where you're not going to have an advocate. They're going to try to get you in and out as quickly as possible. So planning is essential, especially for the African American man that wants to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
We have to drop this whole my daddy didn't leave me nothing, so I'm going to leave something for my kids. But at the same time, you try to buy them all these things in life that are just going to deteriorate because your parents didn't spend a lot of money on you.
Like a 529 plan. Like, what about that?
Exactly.
Right? Like things like that can go beyond you even being here. You can provide beyond the grave. Right.
And a 529 plan is a college savings plan.
Mm-hmm. And what's great is that it can be transferred to other family members. So say, for instance, your oldest child might decide that, hey, I don't want to go to college. I have some other pursuits. It can be transferred to another child, or it can be transferred to another family member. So it can be a vehicle that can be used to fund education for your family way beyond you even being.
Absolutely. So, generational wealth. It changes the paradigm, and that's what we need to start doing. Creating a paradigm shift, creating a culture change. If we're not doing that, then what the hell are you doing with your 2 chains?
Yeah.
Now, I would ask the question. I want to ask on this paradigm, is there a connection of what's the leverage of getting people to want to move up on a totem pole? Because it's like some people are fine with, you know what, I don't see the point right now in what you're talking about. There definitely is an issue with the young. They don't see a reason to invest. So a lot of talking points, but young people are not trying to invest in the long game. And so it's older people, because right now we're watching a lot of older people with dementia and half croaked over. They're the ones still right now running the show, but they're not really all there. And the younger
Unfortunately, Joe, the younger people really don't believe in life anymore. They don't believe in the sustenance of their own Black life. So if they believe that they may die within the next 5 years, they're not going to invest. They're not going to plan for the future. We have a body of youth from millennials to Generation X, Z, whoever they are, that don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their future. They don't believe there is a future. And that's where we have to start. Because people like your panelists today, Joe, we're not the majority of parents of color in the community.
I'm glad you're honest about that. But no, that's true. Like the talking points that are coming out are like, do this, do that, get this shit done, or you should have done that. And then when you look at it, you're like, well, okay, the majority ain't doing that. Like we can't keep on reaching back saying back in the day. Though that's what they did back in the day. That's not what's being done now. Like you don't see the process of people going into legal like that. That's why they make a big plop about it. Oh, look at these new lawyers. We don't see other groups making a big stink about. We got another black female lawyer. We got a black male doctor. You know why? Because that's normal to them. To blacks, that's a big deal. My wife came home and cooked dinner. Like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, like, why is that a big news thing for you? Versus that's just, I don't know, like
normative.
Right. So, and I was trying to find an article. It was people are praising a black surgeon for coming home and cooking dinner for her husband. And I'm like, well, if he would have got home before her, would he have cooked the dinner? Or would he have waited till she got home? Like, either one of y'all could have gone to that goddamn sink and start, majority of logical people would have took some chicken out. Hey, who's getting home first? I'm gonna put it in there, let it thaw out. Whoever gets here back first, we can start on the meat. Now, if you already know your spouse's schedule, or you know the person that you're living with schedule, I'm finding out normalcy is a minority, while the majority is in a fallacy of bullshit. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the logical, it doesn't make any fucking sense anymore. So this is why when you're seeing a lot of the young people, it's live fast, die young. Like they don't care. They don't care. And this is why
that's exactly their mind state, Joe. Live fast and die young. That is the motto. And that's what we as adults in the community of color, if we really want to change the face of the future, we have to address that reality.
Okay. What's up, Chris? What's up? You jumped up here. What's up?
I just came up here to say, I really don't think things are getting worse. I think we're going through a shift. So things might get a little bad before they overturn and get better. But I think these newer generations, they are more claimed to wealth. They want to build, they want to have more money. I think a lot of them are into that. A lot of them sometimes is to their own demise. But I don't believe we're going down. I feel like we're in a transition where we're going up.
Okay. I mean, and looking at youth buying houses, that's definitely a decline. Majority of youth people, young people, are not buying houses anymore. Rent, or the interest rates are so jacked up high they can't do it now. Land, that's out of reach now. I mean, if you got lucky and you got a rich uncle that out yonder, yeah. The educational bar has drastically gotten low. It's gotten low. It's almost like
those are facts. The
educational bar's got low. Kids, yeah. I wrote in cursive.
That's it.
I wrote in cursive.
They could add, subtract, and spell.
They can add, subtract, spell. They don't have to do homework anymore because that's too much taxing on them. God forbid you get them a book report. They don't really start doing book reports until they
God forbid you hurt their feelings, okay? Because you hurt their feelings, you in big trouble with the cops.
I think honestly, society, especially here, is regressing drastically. This is why it's a lot easier with other people from a more harsher climate can come in and beat your ass or literally run you through the coals because they're like, wait, so you're saying that because you're not getting your way, you're doing this is why you're like that. So this is why when Gabe told a story about that foreign girl that came around and said, why are y'all still complaining? Again, other cultures don't have to give a jack shit squat about your background because they're going to be like, okay, cool. I came from this country where we don't have no toilets inside our houses and we got to wash off in a bucket. So why are you complaining? And so American culture is getting weak. American people are definitely are not being able to thrive. The job the market. I think they just had it where one of the biggest trucking companies just shut down. So that's 30,000 truckers out of the job. That's not including the dispatch. That's not including the mechanics. That's not including the property.
Yeah, the yellow company just completely shut down. They're done.
That now you gotta understand, Yellow has been here before. I think around Mayflower and Swift. So who the hell is running? So how are those routes getting out now? Like, like nobody's thinking of what.
It's the Chinese and the Mexicans. It's no more American. Ain't no more American.
Hey man,
You know, the one thing Creative Solutions said that is right is they're into material shit. Okay. The Generation Z, the millennials, they want to know if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
Like, I don't think we're gonna be able to hide it much any longer. How bad, like, like when a doctor asks you, like, show, like, you need to tell me your pain, and if you can't tell them their pain, they're like, listen, if you don't tell me what's wrong with you, it's gonna show up later on down the line. Like, we can try to get at it now.
Okay, you guys, so hear me out. I feel like we are moving into a really big transition. So I remember when I was growing up, people feel like they had to really work hard and sacrifice for money. But I think it was a mindset that you felt like you had to do it. And today's generation, people are not doing that. If it doesn't make sense, why are they gonna sacrifice their time, money, their effort, and
You
lose
are
out on their
accurate. You're
family?
very accurate.
So we're transitioning. People, as of today, people are looking at they can make money easily on the internet. They can make money starting up their own business. They can find something that they really enjoy doing and make money that way. So it's a shift in
Yeah.
mindset. Nobody wants to sacrifice.
And
Nobody wants.
unfortunately,
See, but
Creative
I see.
Solutions,
Yeah.
they learn from the past. And so you're very accurate in saying they don't want to be a broke ass Billie Holiday. Okay. All
Yeah.
the decades and decades that we produced black music and got nothing. Okay. Now we have Cardi B, who has more money than me, and I'm a board certified doctor. So
Yeah.
things have changed.
I think also part of that change is that, they are seeing that, hey, I'm not going to work hard for nothing. But at the same time, I'm seeing what they're kind of investing their time in order to look for some financial gain. Like OnlyFans is going crazy, right? Individuals working more on scamming and scheming people. Like it was just recently like a music video, whereas a young man, he was kind of talking about credit card scamming and he rapped about it. And it was wildly popular. Like I don't think that individuals are really looking at the long term. Yeah, it is changing where they're like, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, what they're choosing to make money,
Their
it
integrity
also,
is lost, Gabe. You're
yeah,
right. No
yeah,
integrity whatsoever.
So
right.
this is where we're having the climactic fail of it's not what you want to do, it's what you have to do. And everybody wants the glamour. Everybody wants to sit in front of a screen and say, "Oh, you could be on a computer and be okay." So, who the fuck is running the servers? Who's dropping the lines in the ground? Somebody got to do that. Who's running the cable wires? Who's the person out there that's running that's building the houses? Remind you, these houses aren't being built accurately sounded. So everybody want to be online, and this is why we got it now, where people are having these social problems now, where they can't even handle dealing with outside people or even know how to get a job, or they take everything from the internet. And y'all say, "Well, don't take it seriously." Well, they're on the internet now, so everybody can't stand in front of the screen. You don't have like you have it where a social media content creator has more say than a doctor, and that motherfucker
It's crazy.
all he did was Google. You got the people who are actually professionals, but they rather listen to a dude or a girl that put on some makeup, gets a ring light, and said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about the subject about healing." Man, shut the fuck up. Like, no. This is why we're going backwards. This is why we're failing. You would have never had these conversations where somebody who has no stake in the game that said, I just think I'm a girl, has more say so than an actual clinical professional that actually went through and fought through the ranks to get their own practice. Now the people now who actually are in the practice are afraid of social media.
That's right, Joe.
Why are politicians tweeting? Why are people that are dealing with, I knew what time it was when you saw the CDC. Guess what the CDC said on Twitter? Like, what the fuck?
Nail it, Joe.
Why are y'all on Twitter?
Yeah.
Y'all on Twitter with the teenagers arguing with them about what y'all believe people should be doing versus that's your job. Like, and this is why I'm saying, like, everybody can't be a boss. There has to be workers. There's no reason you're not going to tell me, like, when people go out to go get something to eat, sorry, we only got 2 people in here. Where the fuck is everybody else at?
Yeah.
And that is why America's falling behind globally. You just nailed it, okay? Because no, everybody can't be a boss, and everybody doesn't have the stripes to be a boss. But in America, that dollars and it doesn't make sense bull crap, that mindset says either I'm a boss or I'm unemployed, and I'll collect an unemployment check from Joe Biden, okay? So nobody in America wants to be a worker bee anymore. And it is going to cost us as a country.
See, but I think that one thing that I've recognized is that being a worker bee is not bad if that's not your end goal. Like there's a lot to learn from being a worker bee. I know that one thing that I've done in my professional career is that I would go to large organizations and really try to understand how they conduct business. And I would take some of those things and apply it to my own personal business. I would understand how contracts work, how proposals work. And this is stuff that I can apply to my own things because I'm seeing how the big dogs do it. So therefore, let me apply it to my to my goals and aspirations rather than trying to reinvent the wheel and struggling through the process. No, there are things that we can learn in developing our skills and being on the lower end of the totem pole. Like you don't go from 0 to hero overnight. So I think that that's also something that's been missing.
I think that's
almost like an apprenticeship is missing.
Yeah, that's it. And guess what? Apprenticeship was a way of life before the millennials were born. Before September 11th, apprenticeship was the only way to the top of the totem pole.
Yes.
Now you can jump and skip spaces and play Monopoly and do all kind of things. But the question becomes, is your word still your bond? And where is your integrity?
So
I don't mean nothing.
Well, see, that's the thing about it where, and I got to pull up the article. I'm going to pull it up for y'all.
Can I just say, I don't know if it's a lack of abundance or something. It's the same concept as like these hotels, right? Hotels was making money. People was trying to book rooms, and now Airbnb changed the game, right? But guess what? Hotels are still booking. They're still overbooked.
Yeah, they're back. Hotels are definitely back. Yeah.
But what happened to make the hotels bounce back? What happened with A?
No, nothing bounced back. I said that they still are booking. They still are overbooked. It's hard for you to get a room, even on some days if you try to book a room at a hotel. I'm just saying that just because somebody switched up and did something different, there's abundance of people here on the earth. So you could get customers that's catered to you. You could get somebody who's catered to them. There's no telling. Like if the old practitioner, she's been doing it for years, maybe there's a lot of people who'll be like, I would rather go to her because she went to school and she has experience. You know what I mean? And then somebody who's new, they'll probably be like, okay, we'll try and give this person a chance.
So,
does that make sense?
So what if the person that never went to school, has no profession, but says, I watched enough videos on TLC.
That's real, Joe. That is not hypothetical. You're being real. You're being real.
Okay, it's the same thing as a doctor and somebody who's a herbalist. One person went to school and the other person was working on herbs and studying herbs, but they don't have a degree.
Okay.
But they can.
No, but Creative Solutions, I disagree with that because the herbalist can still have stripes. You can have an herbalist who studied herbs for 20 years and they are very knowledgeable. We're talking about a jack smack ignorant ass compared to a board certified doctor. That's that kind of difference.
Listen, so when you go into, everybody will understand, when you go into a licensed clinical practice, let me make sure I say it like that, right? Those people are licensed by their state and they got HIPAA, right? This is why I don't agree with nobody getting on social media talking to these people about your clinical issues, and then you wonder when other people start talking about your issues, and then you go into an even downward spiral. Gets even more dangerous. Versus that of somebody,
you got it.
It's in a safe space.
Yep.
And you start talking with them, and then guess what? Now you are now in a legal binding contract. It doesn't matter if the police order, hey, Dr. A, what did y'all just talk about?
That's right. That's right.
This is what me and my client talked about.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can't, like, there's those degrees that protect people. That protect people. Now somebody getting online and they're shedding everything, and then now
you could sign a paper, you can make a contract and do the same thing. So
see, but I think I was gonna say, I think at the same time it's been almost like a downtrodden of credentials and degrees. Like, I think that when a lot of people talk about degrees today, they think about some type of financial burden. They don't talk about the credentialing that's involved there, that kind of really helps individuals understand, hey, who are the professionals who really put the time and effort in. The vetting process is it's absolutely nothing anymore to a lot of like millennials and below, and some younger Gen Xers. Like, they just look at it as a financial burden. Like, school isn't teaching you what you need to be taught. It's leftist and all that type of stuff. It's like, do you understand like what the strenuousness of certain educational programs?
That's
and
it, Gabe. That's it.
The level of
That's what I
information.
was trying to
I
say
understand
to
what you're
Creative
saying.
Solutions before. Is the difference between an herbalist versus an MD? No, that's not valid, because both can be extremely expert. Try somebody who doesn't know jack smack about anything, but they have a lot of followers, and then they want to come against somebody with stripes.
Socially, they're looked at as more credible. The one who has more followers and the one who has a louder voice socially.
I'm gonna just say, obviously, you do have to have credentials. You have to, in some kind of area. But I'm just saying, somebody who has on-hands experience versus somebody who just did 4 years in a university. There's no comparison.
No, a medical doctor is not a 4-year university degree.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say a medical degree.
Accuracy to hands-on experience.
But I was gonna say it doesn't just end after 4 years to be a licensed, board certified medical professional, right? A doctor, a physician. It's like, what is it? 12 at least if you're going to like.
Well, no, I went
family.
to medical school for 4. I went to residency for 4. I've been in practice over 20. So you're right, Gabe. But to Creative Solutions' point, we're not discounting hands-on experience, because go outside of the medical profession. Someone is a graphic designer and they've been doing hands-on experience for 10 years. Of course it counts. But what we're saying is somebody who doesn't have experience, they just have followers. Mm-hmm. They have truly taken a shortcut.
And that's why I think that it's almost like, if you're trying to get your name out there, if you're trying to build up your brand as a professional in your field, you almost have to be a big self-promoter. You have to promote yourself. You have to build up your own brand, even outside of the organization that you work for, in order to be effective in your market and industry as a whole.
That's
you cannot
correct.
Just stop at
If you don't have all the followers, you don't have any credibility. Your street cred does not come from your credentials anymore.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. That's why I started, like Joe knows, like I've been starting to create like tech content on YouTube. So I've been doing a lot more of that in combination of the work that I do within my profession for my employer. So, you got to have almost a double thing. So kind of create a solution to your point. I think that even those herbalists, they also need to have some level of credentialing, right? They need to study under somebody, maybe bringing back the apprenticeship type of thing. Say, I've studied under this individual and been able to acquire these type of skills along with my hands-on and my social. So
you can only, like, this is why I feel like Black people are definitely falling out of grace, especially Black Americans. Because at one time, It was almost a badge to Gabe was getting old. He understand I got to find some interns to pass on my craft. If Dr. A was a doctor, a house to house doctor, or a housewife, a midwife, she had younger girls or younger women that she was teaching how to do it and how to watch the woman, postpartum behaviors, and X, Y, and Z. Like my grandma was a midwife. She was taught how to be a midwife, her grandmother. And so she was also showing my mom, who also went into the medical field, as well as a few other nieces. So it kind of got passed on. So that was kind of a circulation of one, the money, and two, the craft. But if that skill never gets trained or passed on, then it sticks and dies with that one person. Now, granted, I get it. YouTube is the age where anybody can jump on in front of a screen. You can learn anything you want. Right. It's true. However, certain things stay in-house for a reason. And the thing about it is we're seeing it even down in the medical field on how certain things are practices, training, ethic balances are definitely being dispersed. You're never going to see it in. You're never going to see a Mediterranean take a black man and say, let me take you under my belt on how to run a Mediterranean store. I've never seen that shit. I've never seen a Chinese man say, let me take you, black woman, and show you how to cook egg foo young inside of our restaurant. I've never seen that shit. They've never offered you to come inside of their place, of their stomping grounds. Hey, you girls, why don't y'all come inside of our shop and we're going to teach you how to run this goddamn hair, wig, and weave store. You know why? They're not in-house putting you in on that shit. Yeah, you can keep going online, and guess what? At the end of the day, you're buying through them. They're never going to put you at the seat of authority and power. There's a difference of you can be a content creator or you can be the source that the creator of that content has to go through. Understand this. We're not getting enough lawyers. Do y'all not understand our lawyers and doctors and all our professional craftsmen are going down? Like that shit's going down. Black men, you're not buying property like that. You're just not. Whatever this shit about y'all ain't making babies, fine. But y'all are not buying property. When it comes to the black woman, how she's being treated and dealt with in society, that shit's goddamn curbing on the rocks. So we definitely see that shit's happening. And so that's there's a lot of fault line shit that's happening.
Yes, of course there is. And
Like,
it's not just lack of ambition and lack of desire. I want to give a shout to Shonda H and Nicole Marie.
I got
Thank you for listening, sisters. I appreciate your comments.
Mm-hmm. So I got that one. Knowledge and skill was not passed down in our communities. Everyone has to start over. It's hurting us. That is true. Shonda brought up about that of attorney. She also brought up about that of. I think she also brought up that about the clinicals. I got to go back and find it. But
She's on point with the clinical. She's absolutely accurate.
She's also in the medical field. Like I take it very
You
seriously.
could tell. Yep.
Yeah, I take it like the people, like y'all understand, man. A lot of these things, and me and Michelle had a long, extensive conversation about the legacy. Like, listen, other people understand, like, yo, like the weathering storms that are coming down the pipe with politics. It's kind of like, hey, you got to go back to your roots. You know what I'm saying? Some people are. I'm seeing it where Caribbeans are grouping together to go buy houses. And if they got to do it where 6 of them are in that 1 5-bedroom house, they'll do it until they're ready to go get the next house. Like other groups are understanding that, hey, you blacks are individually fighting the storm. And yeah, it is what it is. I understand that. But we're not winning. I was going to talk about I'm getting an article ready for Boyce Watkins. And it was another guy, the Tulsa estate. They fumbled the bag and lost $13 million of black hard-earned cash. They lost $13 million. And people are saying that they can't get back the paperwork. They can't get back their money because of how they signed the paperwork. And in my mind, I'm wondering if only there was an actual lawyer, a lawyer there that actually would have sat down. You understand what I'm saying? Like, sat down and actually did it. But see, this is what happens when you don't have professionals. When you don't know better, you easily can get got. You just put your money in and you lost out. Same thing happened with the safe space in Georgia. People put their money in there. We're starting to see where a lot of people are taking advantage of the people who don't know better, but they want to do better. But if you don't know better, I could easily get you out of your stuff. This, and it's bad because it's history repeating itself. It was one thing when y'all could say, well, the white man did it, but now what happens when there's a black person who knows how to do it too? And now I just got to just play the same game. You're going to already trust me. So if I come in there with Trinity Michelle, and she knows how to speak with a silver tongue and say, listen, sisters, why don't y'all join up with me? Y'all put y'all money into this trust, and we're going to get this land, and y'all have a safe place for y'all girls to come out here. Now, all of a sudden, then y'all sit down after 6 years. Hey, Michelle, where's the money going? I don't know what to talk about. Let me get back to y'all with the books. Let me get back to y'all with the books.
See, and that track record piece is so important. Like, okay, you might not have the credentials, but what have you done that shows that whatever business dealing you're trying to get me involved in, that you're able to execute and deliver on this? Like, we're so quick to look for the quick come up that we're not even doing the due diligence of verifying what we're actually putting our money into. Like, it's crazy. We want to throw down credentialing. We want to throw down degrees, but we want to big up people who got the get to money quick scheme. Like the crypto thing, that was a big revelation of where a lot of us black folk are. We looking for the quick come up. Like I was hearing people who have never ever spoken about anything money wise, business wise, who were all in on crypto. What? What? You looking for the quick come up? You're not really looking at anything long term, anything sustainable. You're not looking at anything that has a track record of financial success on the market. You're just trying to get some quick cash and call it a day. No, thank you.
And once again, that's really the mindset, and trying to make the most out of what we got and move the ball forward would be to say, okay, let's take what Creative Solutions has said. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense to them. Okay, fine. So you want to go for something that has a measurable outcome. Right. But how can you do that and still maintain your integrity? Because you can't move forward in this world with zero integrity and expect your word to be your bond and you to be taken seriously and have any longevity. You're not going to have it.
Right.
Part of that has to do with the market itself. First words out of any business discussion, 9 times out of 10. These may be a little bit more sophisticated, but the question is, what's the exit strategy? How are we going to get a return on our investment? The major return, not, a little 2% here, 3% there. We want return on our investment. And that's one of the things that really breaks my heart. Every time I hear a Black person say, I won a settlement. No, you
like the it's like the lottery, right? I won a settlement.
Right. But it's worse than playing the lottery, because you already know going in, that's probably just a donation. You're not going to win anything.
Right.
But when you go into these lawsuits that we see to try to make things better, what you tend to find is that the settlement is about the attorney getting 40%, all the costs being paid, and you take whatever's left over, if anything.
Right.
And you hear these crazy, $15 million wrongful death lawsuits. How many of these cases are out there each year? Where is all that money? What dynamic business did we see spring up from, the even Rodney King? Let's go back to Rodney King. What did he do with that money? Let's talk
Exactly.
about
Exactly.
Trayvon Martin. They only got about $1 million for him, but Michael Brown, the brother up in New York that was getting that was selling bootleg cigarettes. That was like $15 million, huh?
Eric.
Eric Garner. No,
Right.
Eric
That's
something.
right. Eric Garner. That's it.
Eric Garner.
With the
I
Lucy's.
mean,
With the Lucy's. What has come out of all of this death and mutilation?
Black Lives Matter. The founders buying multi-million-dollar houses for themselves,
That's
and we're not
exactly what
holding
she
them
did.
accountable.
Nope.
We're not
As
holding
a
them
community,
accountable.
we're still at square one. From Emmett Till to Eric Garner to George Floyd, we're still at square one.
I mean, I'm sure we could Google real fast and find out that another young brother died last month or last week at the hands of the police. There is a culture of fear amongst our girls and boys that is not healthy. When we saw how Caucasians were when they had to go through the shutdowns during COVID, and how upset they were. They couldn't just go sit down at whatever restaurant they wanted to go to.
Oh yeah,
Just a
they were in
few.
full PTSD as a white culture just from being quarantined. Okay. But as Attorney Nichelle just said, how America criminalizes Black youth. Our line sister wrote a book, Kristen Henning. You can look it up, at how the trauma of policing the Black community has traumatized an entire generation of Black youth. And this, back to Creative Solutions' point earlier, this is a part of why they don't feel there's any hope for the future. They don't make investments in themselves. They don't want to take on student loan debt because they don't feel that their lives are going to have trajectory or longevity. And that's because of how they have been criminalized by police. That's all they've ever known.
And as bad as it may be, we do not self-regulate the images that are out there. We've developed since the 1960s, and I'm sure most of you have seen this black and white video circling the internet. And it was like, this is why white businesses should advertise with with um with things like Black entertainment television, because we know how Black people are when they shop. And unlike other races, we are going to buy the best. We have $1.2 trillion worth of spending power. Okay. Do you know what spending power means? If you take $40,000 and just gave it to every Black person from straight out the birth canal to 2 seconds away from death, when you put those numbers together, that's how you get $1.2 trillion worth of spending power. It's all made up. It's all about, the worst thing about the civil rights movement was that instead of negotiating for white people buying our stuff, we promised that if they ended segregation, that we would start spending all of our money at their shops, at their restaurants, at their churches, at their schools.
Regina, say that again, because that was such a powerful statement, honestly.
I mean, I'm just going to say it again. We are still not negotiating for the contracts for white people to buy from our businesses. We are still negotiating about us giving them our money. We need some more.
If, on the other hand, the civil rights movement had been done in accordance with what you just said, instead of us deciding, okay, we're not going to spend Black money in the Black community, we're going to spend all of our Black money in the white America. If you just please stop kicking us in the ass. If instead of doing that, we had done what? We would be where?
Now I would ask y'all. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. You know, I like to kick around the hornet nest. Um, what would be the? It's 2023. 2023. And I know it's always good to have that the talking point. But what would be the plus? Because you got to wear when you buy a new home, you ain't buying it in a black community. When you go get your new clothes or garbs or shoes or sandals, you're not buying that from a black person. Or your oils or your lotion and stuff. I mean, what would be the pluses of walking that line? Because see, it's easy to say that, but then to actually execute that's a different thing. Because then, I mean, majority of blacks, especially around that time, yeah, they had it. Those neighborhoods are gentrified now. They're gentrified. They're not really there. And if they are still there, they're dilapidated. Now I know, yes, Michelle, you can bring up the if you bring up those other communities, those black communities that have money, those are minority. Those are micro communities. And granted, you can't just move in those communities. You have to have a certain amount of money, right? Certain amount of money and certain type of lifestyle. So they're not just saying, "Hey, Tina, yeah, I get you work at Sam's Club. So why don't you bring your family? No, they're gonna say, nah, you and your husband. What line do y'all come from? What kind of assets and resources y'all have?"
But what's wrong with that, Joe?
No, I didn't say nothing wrong with it. I don't listen.
I mean,
I didn't say nothing
I
wrong.
mean,
So wait. Now hold up. Now look, you have it where a well-to-do community of blacks. I want you to understand that. I want you to see B.M.T. I don't have a problem with that. They're in survival mode of only the best of the best can live amongst us. They rather inbreed with them. They're not breeding with other black people. Y'all, we're not good enough to be with them. We outside of them. So you're not in there with them, with the Obama daughters, they're not talking to you. Willow and Jaden will be in that neighborhood community. Brownie, LeBron's son, who just had a cardiac arrest.
You're absolutely right.
It's so I'm just saying, Dr. A, like
the classism. Yep.
Right. So just keep that. I want you to keep that in mind.
It's just like in India with the caste system. It's the same shit.
So it's I get y'all talk. I get y'all saying integration, but when a lot of black people get their bag or get their skill trade, do they say, "Hey, I'm gonna stay in the black community"? No, fuck that. I can get that $300,000 to $400,000 house now. I'm out of here.
And once again, that is the damage that was done by desegregation. If we did not have desegregation, the Cosbys would still live in the hood. Desegregation allowed us to be the greatest weapon against our own selves.
So,
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm gonna be devil's advocate here. If we went to Haiti,
I was about to do devil's advocate too, but go ahead. Sorry.
I don't see y'all going back. I don't see none of
No, I'm saying if we were to go, we would want to be. If I have money, I want to be around other people with money. Will Smith said it. That if you are the richest person in your group or the smartest person in your group, you need to find another group.
Guess it ain't the black group then.
There are a lot of intelligent black people. There are a lot of intelligent black people that have money. There are a lot of intelligent black people that don't have money. There are a lot of really ignorant, because Cardi B is not black, but there are some ignorant black people who have money, but they ignorant. They have no loyalty to their own mothers, fathers. They'd sell their own child's soul to get some more money.
Yes, Michelle, and the ignorant ones are beginning to outnumber the intelligent ones.
Yeah.
America's incentivizing the ignorant ass who has a lot of followers and no intelligence and no stripes.
And that's why I do advocate for some level of separation to some degree.
Whoa,
Because
whoa.
it is.
What
It
up?
is. Like, I don't know. I find it.
I'm together.
Listen, I'm not trying to act like I'm black. Wait. I'm not trying to act like I'm black bourgeoisie or anything, but I do find it draining at times to be around a lot of ignorant conversation.
What?
Like, I'm not just trying to come around and talk about some movies, whatever is the latest thing happening in social media, who dating who. Like, if that's the
Gabe.
majority of
I
the
agree
conversation,
with you.
then
I
I'm
agree
drained.
with you, Gabe. I didn't just come on the show because of Joe. I already have love for Joe that goes way back. I came on the show, Gabe, because you're here as an engineer. And that STEM shit is what I'm with. Okay.
I'm telling you.
I don't want to have a bunch of base conversation and come out the conversation more ignorant than I went into it.
Most conversations are base with a lot of people out there. And I'm not just saying with black folk, but like just people in general. Like, and you know, maybe it's also a part of my personality. Like, I really do not prefer small talk about insignificant things. I'd rather talk about, you know, something that somebody's going through, something that really applies, something I can glean to be able to better improve my life. But
that's right.
Yeah, most conversations are definitely based in,
and that's why we're going to have to, I hate to say it like this, level up as African Americans or descendants of slaves in America.
Yep.
Because you do have a macroeconomic. Everybody's used to me talking on this show is talking about macroeconomic. How many people know where the country Nigeria is?
Niger or Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Yeah. Right now they're going through some tough times to show you. I don't know. You might not want to use
it is a country on the continent of Africa. It is close to Nigeria and Chad, but they just had a full-scale military coup. It was the last of.
I didn't know.
No, it's just one of those things where we keep in this macroeconomic world. You have the United States up there threatening to cut off the economic aid to Niger, to Haiti, to all these black countries that are already on the verge of just pure annihilation. But just by withholding, relief, the United States can starve out a couple.
Can annihilate and create genocide.
South Africa and Haiti have a rare precious metal called uranium. I think I'm saying it correctly, but it's only found in 2 places.
Like the modern day Wakanda.
Right. So they're putting pressure on the Haitian government to do the most favored deals with American manufacturers. Nigeria is part of OPEC. It is one of the largest producers of oil and gas. And they do not even have one refinery.
Nope. Just drilling. They just drill and steal.
Right. And so you have macroeconomically, you have Russia, China.
Well, see, these are
South
the issues
Africa.
they don't want us to talk about on these podcasts.
Now we're going to have some. Now we're going to get to have a good conversation, because now as we have this conversation, I ask the question: do you stay loyal to your black, or do you stay loyal to your American culture? Because at some point,
don't forget we have permanent standing to go back to Ghana.
I have no allegiance to Africa. I have my allegiance to America. This is my stomping ground. I have no allegiance to Africa. My allegiance is here.
It just depends on where the bombs start falling.
No, my allegiance is here. I'm not going to play that game, because ultimately, this is I've never listen. Have any of y'all been to Africa? Y'all walked?
Nope.
Y'all want to go over there? Y'all can. I got a people. I can get you over there. But see, understand that. See, it's easy to say it while you're here. You as a woman are not going to be treated the same here when you go over there. That femininity shit talk, that shit stop here. When you get over there, whatever that man tell you, you get some lip. Shut up. I want you to understand.
It's not that bad, Joe. It's not that bad.
They still just now figuring out that, hey, we got to stop sewing up women's pussies. They still just figuring that shit out.
But that was still lower socioeconomic people that were doing that.
Okay.
That, it's whether we like it or not, there's always been this privilege that women have when they come from fathers with greater wealth than others. So they didn't have to go through genital mutilations because, the fathers wanted what was best for their daughters. And there's been that back and forth. Now, countries like Ghana did rule in the 90s that a woman is no more senior than the youngest adult male in her family. So a woman cannot inherit direct property from her father.
So how do y'all? Okay, so I'm asking. Until y'all can start changing the climate over there, how can you say you're trying to save something that does not favor your success rate?
I mean, first of all, I'm going to say it like this. Traditional African society, fathers and brothers and cousins hold a man accountable. The government does not intervene.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. It depends on how much money you got. You can get away with all kinds of stuff in there.
Well, again, that's why I'm saying it like I'm saying it. Because, a Nigerian woman is not going to dial 999 to get the police to come out and stop her husband from hitting her. She's going to call, her little brother, her big brother, her daddy, her uncles. Exactly. They're going to come over.
Exactly.
They're going to come over. So as an American going over there and understanding to respect their culture, because it kills me when these passport bros say, I'm gonna go over there and get me a woman. They traditional. If they in the city, they are not traditional. The traditional women are staying close to home as traditional women were taught to do. They're not talking directly to strange men.
No, they're not. No.
In other words, you're willing to go to Africa, give up some liability of freedom to go to be an African culture.
I'm saying that in a microeconomic society,
yes or no?
That doing deals with Africans, either in the United States or outside the United States, they have the resources. They have natural raw resources.
They don't have the resources.
So
have the resources. They do not control their resources. See, there's a difference.
They have them. I won't say they control them, but there is an import-export market. And believe it or not, there are a lot of white companies that send Black Americans over to negotiate. But they're beginning to pull back on that because they want somebody that can speak the Africans' language. So the Africans are sending their kids over here. And, I hear a lot of people saying, well, Africans, they didn't have as much money as I did. I'm sitting there going, they had the books bought. Books were paid for.
But you didn't answer what you just said. That's the thing about it with Blacks. Y'all not catching. This is why other groups are just driving over you. And it's yes or no. You don't have to skate past it, yes or no. And I ask you women, but all three of y'all are educated. Are you willing, and even Gabe as a father with a child, are y'all willing to put your daughter's liability of freedom on the line to go to African culture?
Yes. Yes. You know why? Because the misconception that African American men have about the way women, I'd still be a lawyer in Nigeria. Afro would still be a doctor. We would be highly sought after for our intellect and our training.
Okay. Hold on. Wait. You spoke for yourself. You said yes. You let everybody speak for themselves. Let everybody speak for themselves. Yeah.
I think that we have so much already established here in America that I'm not really looking at restarting in another country, right? We got assets, we have infrastructure, we have all types of things here as a family. So I wouldn't be looking to go to another country in order to establish something new just because it's Black.
Thank you.
personally. But I'm not saying. But I don't say it's bad for anybody else.
Right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's an individual soul asking question. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Joe.
So I'm not. No, there is no judgment show of right or wrong. I told you straight up for me that I can't do it. I'm not doing. Listen, bro. My fight's here. I'm an American. I'm a Black American. I know some people don't like.
I can understand that, and I'm also saying you don't have to limit yourself to just African American country or African countries.
But,
There are places like Ireland. There's offering $90,000 for you to move there.
And I'll be like, y'all can keep that shit. Listen, my fight here is here. My fight here. My granddaddy and all of them right here. They already started. That's the thing about it. Like, yeah, it's like you can't keep running from your fight.
And not only that, but there's validity to the fact that we have a dog in the fight. Okay. We have been fighting since Crispus Attucks. Okay. We have been in every single war that this country has fought. We have, as Gabe said, infrastructure and assets that we have contributed to, if not completely, then at least partially.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm asking y'all, like, understand this. You become a doctor in Africa, right? You become a doctor in Africa, right? When you come over to America, guess what? You can't practice. You got to go. You got to go to school. You still got to go right back to school and go get the credentials needed in America. Yes, I've talked to quite a few of them that, hey, I'm a doctor.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you could be a doctor in the Ukraine and bring your shit over here to the U.S. But if it was a majority Black and brown country, you're going to start from square one as if you had a high school diploma.
You mom say that shit you was birthing babies in that goddamn that clinic by the cattle farm. No, nigga, you gonna take your ass right down there. You're gonna learn how to do the whole procedure. Yeah, you're gonna learn all of that. You have to go right in there. You're gonna go through all of that set stuff. I got a lot of friends who are not American, and they've told me that they were professionals in their country, but here they had an even higher standard that they had to meet. And that's the thing about it. Now, I'm not insulting on anybody, but understand this. You got enough shit here. Yeah, other countries are asking you to come there, but the buyout trade is not the same.
No, it's and that's real.
It's just not.
Gabe's engineering degree, Nichelle's law degree, and my medical degree earned in the U.S. No, it carries a hell of a lot more weight than if we had gotten that in a third world country.
You know what I'm saying? There are so many places better than America where, I mean, shout out, respect to the person that put that. There are so many places better than America where African Americans won't have to struggle as much. I mean,
I don't know.
Here's the thing about it.
Why are you struggling? That's the question.
Well, that was the mindset when Josephine Baker and other Black celebrities left the U.S. for Europe. That was the mindset. Right, but now it's 2023. It's a whole new equation.
Also, Nina Simone left too, right? I think she went over to. I think she was in Amsterdam.
Nina Simone, absolutely. God bless her. I met her before she left this earth.
Like,
nice.
Like I said, I don't like. Listen,
look at Tina Turner. She wouldn't come back.
Right, she was a Swiss citizen.
Eve is gone too. The rapper.
Like, y'all gotta understand. Like, we're using the people that are already financially have residential streams of income. Tina does not give a shit what goes on in America. If she were to do a concert, most artists as they begin to wash up, I'm not saying wash up, but as Tina got older, Tina said, I'm going to the UK where people are still bumping my album. Not saying that, hey, that people aren't listening to here, but we already understand that when people start to fade out of certain in the sun, they go to other places where, hey, I can sit down,
right,
some songs. I don't have to work as hard. Hey, cool. I'm good while I'm at.
I mean, it's like that for professional athletes too, right? A lot of NBA players go over to China and
absolutely. When you have global, like you said, Joe, global streams of income, it changes your options.
I'm not going to go against that. If you said, hey, Dr. A, they're willing to pay you 60,000, 60 or 70,000. Now 60 or 70,000. Where if she was living in California or in Seattle, that 60,000 ain't going very far. I'm sorry, but probably in another country, yeah, you goddamn, you right, you Jesus, you can go around and buy up whatever you want to do and live quite comfortably. Some people are fine with that, but understand this: you have to question why are other cultures of people, namely, I question when Africans say, "Hey, you should leave America and go over here." But then I'm like, then why the fuck are y'all coming over here then? Then why are y'all running over here? Y'all running over here, making money, getting the highest gross income houses. Y'all not trying to go back. Y'all stay over here and turn Republican and say, hey, keep the motherfucking immigrants out. Like, hold up, bro. Where this shit happen at? See, I could talk now. So that's what I'm saying. The separation, and it's interesting because other minority immigrants have the most disgust and disdain for Black American immigrants. They'll say, you're lazy. You're not doing enough. Why are y'all bitch complaining about the system? Look at me. My daddy came over here and we bought a house, fixed it up, and we did just fine. What's your excuse? I've watched that during the Trump era. All the motherfuckers saying, hey, blah, 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 Black people. They weren't American. They weren't Americans saying that for the most part. I got it. So you have to start understanding we have blood in the game. We already have blood in the game. Not no kind of apartheid. Majority of Blacks, when they ask who wants to go to Liberia, what do the majority of Blacks choose to do?
Stay in America.
Stay in America. If anybody had a reason to leave, it should have been them. It should have been them Black right there. They said, nah, I don't know. I don't know what's over there. I know what's here. I know that white man. I know he don't fuck with me. So fuck it. I get it. You don't like me? Cool. Us five, we're gonna stay right here, build up this little place right here, farm it, work it, and we'll see how it pans out.
Now, here's a question, right?
Yeah,
what have been some of the metrics of success or failure of African Americans who had transitioned over to Liberia? Like, how are their lives today, and what has it been generationally? I don't know the answer to that.
That's an excellent question. And Michelle and I have a line sister whose family did go to Liberia, and she is now back here. She went to Duke with us at the age of 16. But so I could ask her that question. But that's an excellent question to be explored. Compare the African American who stayed here with the one who went back to Liberia, and how are we doing?
Yeah, I'd be interested in it because I really don't. So, kind of a little bit more about myself. My father is from Nigeria, and my mother is from America, and they met while they were in college here in Detroit. But my parents divorced early, so I haven't had a whole lot of Nigerian exposure. So I just consider myself African American. But to that point, I really, because of the exposure or the lack of exposure to African culture, I really don't, I'm not very close to it. Even though that's my last name. My last name is Nigerian, so I'm kind of just more familiar.
Your last
with
name
home.
and your last name and your daily stature is Nigerian, bruh.
Well,
I haven't met you, but I get the full gist of what the Mexican chicks had to deal with. You ain't no Pecanito.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in the culture, so I don't know. But maybe it's just in the blood.
That's it. I'm agree with that.
Maybe. Yeah.
When my girlfriend came to London and she met the Nigerians, she started looking at them after a while, and she said, "You know something? Y'all just Brit niggas. Y'all just British niggas. That's all y'all are."
That's a fact.
It was just very interesting. And our culture. There are cultural mores that are changing. I remember I was engaged to this Nigerian guy, and his grandmother, oh my gosh, she's like, "You want a lawyer? I buy you a lawyer. You can marry a lawyer." Someone in her family probably sold their soul to the devil. And it was just
Mm.
like, okay, she called me a mongrel.
Yeah, it's
So,
real funny because it's like also because my mom is from America, because my mom is African American, but my father is Nigerian. It's like always when I would encounter Nigerians or Africans in general, it would almost be like I kind of get the mutt treatment, like right, like you half and half. So you're not us, but
Yeah,
you kind of
discrimination
us.
is real on all levels. Yeah,
Oh
and it
yeah,
does happen. Africans definitely discriminate against African Americans.
until you're very successful, and then they claim you. That was
Bingo.
I'm telling you,
Bingo. As
soon as you
all the
start to
professional
yeah.
athletes know, that's why they're global. Okay.
Mhm.
Once you are at the seven figure and above income,
Yep.
you're global. You're global.
Yep.
And our
Yep.
people are the worst at that level of discrimination. Like Joe
Mhm.
said earlier, it's almost like the caste system. And we
Yeah.
are that way with each other. The minute that you get a professional degree, you ain't in the hood no more. And much
Mhm.
less let you have seven figures and more. Okay. Cardi B
Mhm.
money. Because now you really have cashed out of the community. And why
Yeah.
have you done that? Desegregation gave you the option. And
Mm.
that's what we need to get real about. Nichelle was talking about that earlier. If we rewind history back to the civil rights movement, and instead of us saying, please, Mr. Please, Massa, can we please ride your bus? Can we please eat at your counter? And spend
Mhm.
our money on white America. If we had made a different decision, where would we be now? And would our children be so hopeless?
Hmm.
and we oftentimes feel like as business people, we can only offer our goods and services to other minorities or other,
Mhm.
if we're women, we tend to, try to think of what other women would want. Whereas Mark Cuban told me one time,
See, that would be
um,
that be discrimination, Michelle.
no, it's not discrimination. It's not discrimination. It's just the way the products are marketed and targeted. That's making a product for women is not discrimination unless you are some loosey goosey that thinks that tampon should make a tampon for men.
Well,
You
no,
know,
it's not
if
that.
that
I'm saying that if you're saying, okay, we're only making a product predominantly for minority, then
I
make it.
said that that's one of the things. It's not discrimination. Anybody can buy it, but it's marketed towards, you know, black hair care, black skin care, different nuances like that, or black fashion, hip hop fashion.
How far would
That,
how far do you think that would go?
and that's what I'm saying. Mark Cuban said, you account for 13% of the population. So why are you limiting your target demographic to just 13% of the population? Why not have something that's universal? He's like, because really, if people come to me and say, I want you to invest in a woman's product, I'd have to go ask my wife, what do women really like? Because I'm not a woman. I asked my daughter what toys kids like because I'm not a child anymore. He said, I can see what I, as a full blooded man, want to wear, what I want to put in my hair, how I want to smell. But again, I wonder why, if this is such a great product for the Black community, why aren't you getting Black investors? Because they'll understand it a lot better than I do. And it got me to thinking that you do have a push, like people like Robert Smith. He snuck in. He just kept making his money until, you know, he had a good billion and they couldn't stop him from being in that space. But he was a Black
Right.
man that opened up his services to anybody who wanted investment services. So it's
Mhm.
kind of, when I say macroeconomic, I'm saying that we can, like right now, somebody's importing hair from India. We all know that. Somebody is importing the hair from India to the United States, where it's being distributed by Asians throughout the Black community. But when Black people try to get into that market, they're having a harder time because there are fewer shops. They don't have that distribution market set up so they can go directly to India and buy. But there are, different products or things that you can buy overseas and distribute it throughout the United States, like those zappos. That was just some white boy went down to South America and saw that the natives were using basically rope and cloth to make shoes. And he started selling it to white people and promising white people that if they bought a pair of shoes for their white feet, that he would donate one for the brown feet, maybe even to the black feet. I mean, there are a lot of different marketing areas that you can attack that
That's
benefit
true.
the black community as well as benefits your immediate family and takes them on to the next level of having real generational wealth.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
Now,
those estate taxes ain't no joke.
Nichelle, can you go back and tell us, because you're always dropping pearls as if they're grains of sand. You shared with the audience Haiti and where? Nigeria, not Niger. Both
No,
have what rare?
Haiti and South America, and it's
Oh,
Haiti,
Haiti and where?
South Africa.
Oh,
Only
okay.
two known
Haiti and
sources.
South Africa. Well, we already know South Africa's being pillaged. Haiti's being pillaged. The Clintons notoriously had their hands all over Haiti, and apartheid happened for a reason. But tell us again, Haiti and South Africa both have what rare mineral that's nowhere else on earth?
It's like iridium. Iridium. It's like Afri said, did they base the part of the story of Wakanda on this very, very rare mineral that was only it's soft and malleable, but it
It's
takes
the
a
only
really
rare
high heat.
mineral on earth. So hell yes, Wakanda was based on this.
So it was just discovered like a little over 100 years ago. So they need it for all our cell phones, all of our military equipment. It is just
It was
so.
discovered around the time that they screwed South Africa with apartheid.
Hold on.
I was going to also kind of mention about that, looking at different markets so you can kind of find things to tap into that can really have a lot of financial benefit for you and your family and your business. I think another piece that's a lot of times missing is that of scalability. So I know a lot of people who might start off as content creators, might have YouTube channels, but then they start like consultations. These are like these phone calls. You schedule a phone call and they kind of give you whatever game there is or whatever
That's it.
information there
Almost
is,
the way
right?
telehealth works.
Indeed. But the thing that I find with that is that if you're working a full-time job, if you're doing content creation and you're taking these consultation calls, you're actually kind of being kind of work thin there. Like, and the scalability factor
Right. Now
isn't there.
your
You're missing out on
integrity,
something.
now your integrity's up for question.
Absolutely.
How many
Absolutely. Because you
things
can't
can you
give your
do
100%.
extraordinarily well?
100.
Hey Joe,
Absolutely.
one of these
So then
days
it
we're gonna
becomes
have to
taxing.
do a Black
Uh-huh.
AI show.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Black AI. Some of the things I've
I'm
been
in
hearing about
agreement with
Mid
that.
Journey.
People with stripes only. If you ain't got stripes,
You
don't
need
come on the
stripes.
panel. Don't come on the panel.
Yeah.
Right. Because you are getting a lot of new opportunities. And the reason I keep mentioning Robert Smith is because he is reaching out to communities and doing a lot of entrepreneurial workshops for kids, for their families, how to turn $25 into a business. Can you start a business with just $25? And it's like make 5 hats with that $25 and sell each hat for $25. Rinse and repeat. Now you have a business. Little simple things that it's not. We keep saying nobody taught us how to do these things. I'd be damned if they didn't. I'm not gonna let you
Right.
disrespect your elders like that, because your grandmama and your grandpapa and your great they were not jumping out of windows because the stock market crashed. They were not waiting in soup lines for food. They knew how to survive. They knew if nothing else, I can go down to the creek and set up some traps, or I can go and try to kill me some birds or something. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna go ahead and
Mhm.
gather some stuff. And they learned how to sell their skills, their labor. It A whole generation was too good to be chauffeurs. Too good
Yeah.
to be chauffeurs. But now everybody and their mama want to be Lyft or Uber drivers.
I was going to say something that would also be valuable to youth is how to show, like, how to build a resume early, right? I don't think it's any reason why a 10 to 15-year-old can't have a resume of some level of professional experience on it. Not necessarily working in like a W-2 capacity for a company, but maybe just like you were mentioning,
Volunteer.
right, volunteer for things, right? Showing some type of, but also telling a story with the initiatives and the businesses and the things that you've done. Like just even providing your services, like you were mentioning, selling, right? You can build
Every
that up.
child can rap.
Yeah.
If you have all these little kids out there rapping at 3 to 5, guess
Yeah.
what? They can also write a kid's book.
Yeah.
They can tell a
Writing a
story.
kid's book. Yeah. Do audio books or any type of digital books.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. All that is
Exactly.
voiceover type of work. Or even their friends, like they could even start their own little recording studio where they buy a certain mic, download some free software, and start to, putting beats behind what they do. So you can become the the neighborhood producer. So it's a lot of different things that kids can get into that doesn't necessarily just involve doing TikTok dances all day. So I think and that can
Yeah,
go
I
into
mean,
professional experience on a resume where they can put before organizations and people to say, "Hey, I've done this." They have a track record of success at a very young age. It's
and whether
possible.
we like it or not, there are a lot of. I just saw a posting for a person to work at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
$30 an hour.
Hmm.
$30 an hour. Whereas I know they're advertising for part-time attorneys at $28 an hour.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
used to talk to a young lady that was a clerk, and she was not too long out of law school. She has such a let me tell you, she has such a demeanor about her. She was almost like a little precious princess type of young lady, and she got humble when she became a clerk. She got real humble because she was a law clerk for a little while, and
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. So you kind of speaking about that is funny to me. It
Yeah, they want
reminds
to
me of that.
work you till you drop.
Yeah.
Afra and I will both tell you, 14-hour days are nothing.
Yeah.
That's just to be expected. And you make up for your inability to do more than a 14-hour day by coming in on the weekend.
Hmm.
Afra stays on call. So
Absolutely.
there are people that are looking at work-life balances, and they're trying to push a change. And with technology, you have AI now that's, promising to do everything, but maybe Afraid, do you think they're going to start using AI to operate pretty soon? You just pull up at the
Well,
clinic.
the reality is this. My job is safe. There will never be AI pulling a baby out your hoo-ha. Okay. There will never be AI responsible for surgery. We've gotten very close. There is robotic surgery with Da Vinci. That's the
Mhm.
closest we can get to AI, because you need a human brain when you're dealing with life and death right at that moment. Okay. Just like computers have glitches, just like when we're doing the electronic medical record and it's 2 a.m. and somebody comes in with COVID, and I'm trying to order the damn tests so they can be tested, so the other staff can be protected, and the computer flops and won't let me order the tests. I have to
Hmm.
do what? I have to call a human being. They're the tech person.
Shout out to Epic.
Okay. Shout out to Epic. That's right. My STEM brother,
Mhm.
Gabe.
Yeah.
At 2 a.m, when the shit
Mhm.
can't get done, I need a human being to pick up the phone and tell me why the computer is not working. So at the
Mhm.
bottom line, Nichelle, I don't care what AI is able to do. Problems happen.
Yeah.
Glitches happen, and you're still going to need a human being if human life is the commodity.
100%. And my wife is a CRNA, so
And
I get
that
all of the
showed
story.
from the beginning. I already knew
Yep.
you had a soulmate in my lane from the beginning
Yeah.
of this conversation, Gabe.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
guess
yeah.
what? God bless you for it. You're going to live longer for it. Wives
Absolutely.
make
Listen,
husbands
she
live
keep me.
longer, but especially if they're medical professionals.
I'm telling you. I mean, she's booking me appointments now. Like she literally keeps all of my appointments, and I'm like, thank you. I definitely appreciate you for all you do.
Yeah,
She's
that's
at
it.
work right
We
now.
can never AI human life.
No,
It's not
no,
going to happen.
I mean, even as it concerns administering um, anesthesia. I mean, there needs to be somebody monitoring those levels. They need to there's so much human in the loop type of things as it concerns medical
It's true. Like I said,
professionals. Yeah,
The Da Vinci is about as far as we're going to go.
right,
You know,
right.
there's equipment in the OR. A lot of
Hmm.
things are automated, but it's
Hmm.
not going to go further than where it is right now. Okay.
Right,
The next
right.
artificial intelligence is creating babies. So, once again,
Mm.
what we're doing that's unethical and immoral is we're
Hmm.
beginning to say, how can we create human life without man and woman?
Mm.
How can we create out
Yikes.
of two men eggs? And we're doing this, okay? How can we
Hmm.
make eggs out of a penis? How can
Yikes.
we make a human baby out of a male human being? Those are the AI questions, Nichelle, that are being asked right now. And they are very unethical. And there are a whole lot of issues that we can get into in more shows.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And kind of even on that note, I've been double dipping, working and talking this whole time. I'm gonna and drop down so I can kind of focus in and really create
That's
some
right.
impact today.
That's
But yeah,
right.
it was
That's
great talking to you
exactly
all.
right.
I'll definitely
That's
be back.
exactly right. But
All right.
there are eggs that have been created from the male species. Okay, the male gender now can make eggs. How did that happen? We have to explore AI. We lost some people. BMT, are you still there? Are you still there? We lost Gabe and we lost Nichelle, but I'm still here rocking out with you. BMT, are you still there or you stepped away as well in the midst of this discussion? Looks like I'm the only person left on the airwaves. I'm the quote last man standing. And that's okay too.
All right, so the show's over with.